First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
And hello, everyone. This is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Dibbler. Appreciate you being here. We live stream here every weekday starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, and we are on our apps, we're on our website, we're on our social media channels, and we cover a lot of different topics, so I appreciate you joining us. If this is your first time, thanks again for being here. So right now, though, we're going to be talking about a music festival, which is returning to Portland here next week. I'm talking about Portland's Folk Festival, folk music. We're going to talk all about that right now with one of the co-founders joining me, Scott Gilmore. Scott, thank you very much for joining us here today, and excited to learn more about this and tell everybody about the Folk Festival. So I think to start off, I always like hearing about how people go about founding and what really was the inspiration for founding a festival like this.
You know, it started organically. I'm in a local band here in Portland called Fox and Bones, and we found that we never could see any of our friends perform because we're always gigging. We're always playing music somewhere. And so we decided the only way that we could see them all together in one place is to host a festival, to book them to play together on one night. And so about 8 years ago, we started this at McMiniman's White Eagle. It was a small gathering of all intimate friends, but the love and the kind of caring of seeing everyone together, appreciating each other's craft really brought us together. And we've slowly been kind of working our way up through the McMiniman's venues over the years. We hosted at Mission Theater the following year to a few sold out crowds, and then the next year they just kind of tossed us up to the big time at Crystal Ballroom, and we've been working our best to make a magical experience there ever since.
That is definitely bumping up the chart on McMiniman's venues. I mean, Crystal Ballroom, and not just one night, but 3 nights you were going to be.
Yes.
That's
yeah.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's definitely frightening. I'll tell you that. It certainly is frightening, the amount of work and just the effort that goes into it. But it's a labor of love, and it's something that we experienced the first year, and we just wanted to create every year since, just because it's something that feels so right and it feels so natural, and having the time to spend with not only our co-creators here in Portland, but the community. And also now it's evolved into something that can do a lot of good in the community, as we're donating all proceeds to All Good Northwest, which is a local charity here that helps with houselessness and community building. And so it's something that you can feel good attending, and also does a lot of good in the local community.
That's great. I want to actually ask you some more about that here in just a minute on that, because I think that's really interesting. Let me do this first. Let's talk about folk music. And perhaps you can just, for maybe the audience out there who doesn't know or isn't a part of it, tell us about the Portland folk music community and scene.
I feel that it's a vibrant one. There's a lot of different performers, and I'd like to say there's all different feelings about and expectations when you say folk music. I think there's a generational gap sometimes where some, there are the purists who think folk music is just a guitar and a song, and a part of me prescribes to that. And so on Sunday we have all acoustic Sunday, where it's mostly songwriters and just acoustic guitars. But to me, folk music is more about storytelling. It's about the art of storytelling. And I think that can be done in so many different subgenres and sub categories of the mix. And so we have a little bit of something for everyone. We have, the folk rock. We definitely have some higher energy bands on the bill. We'll have, like, ALO is more of a folk rock band. We'll have some more soul performances going. We have more alternative folk. Like, it's really a mixture, and all about artists that are telling a story. That what are they saying? What are their words saying? And I think that's something that binds the whole festival together.
See, that's the one tenet that stays throughout all of these different kinds of folk music. It's the storytelling.
Yeah, we try to find artists that weave a story, that have a focus on their craft, and then we mash them all together and see kind of what comes out of it, and see what kind of tapestry we can weave with all these different types of storytellers.
Well, you mentioned there's lots of different kinds of music that are going to be at this, different kinds of folk music rather, different genres. Can you tell us, you mentioned a little bit about there, but I'd like to expand on that just a bit more and talk about the artists and how you curate something like this, who you invite in, and where all these artists come from.
They come from all over. We have some nationally touring acts like ALO, who are based down in California. Thunderstorm Artiste used to be here in Portland, but has recently moved to Nashville, which is exciting. Rainbow Girls are from California, I believe. Goodnight Texas are the band members live on the opposite side of the country, and their band is named after the town that is geographically halfway in between them. So then we have Talbot Brothers, who used to be Portland residents and are now I think living in between Portland and Nashville and Nebraska. And so a lot of it is our local artists that are here in Portland, but then we also want to try to bring in some national flair to mix to it as well, just because we want our local scene to flourish. And I feel that by bringing in national talent, it gives a chance to build and lift up our local scene a level as well, and make those connections and have something to help all levels of Portland artists not only build their resume, but also meet some of my idols. I get to book my musical idols and have a chance to interact and see them on stage.
What do you think is one of the biggest differences, other than venue size and the number of artists, but the biggest differences between when you started to now when it comes to the Portland folk music scene?
I think with each year you get a little bit better at what you do. If you're paying attention and you're working hard and you're listening to the people that you're working with. And so I'd like to think from our end, we've been a little bit better at communicating and booking and organizing. And McMiniman's staff all the way through from White Eagle to Crystal Ballroom has been absolutely amazing, but especially here at Crystal Ballroom, the tech team, the production team, the showrunners, everyone at that venue really just is absolutely the top notch in Portland. And so when I bring what is admittedly a very complicated lineup with lots of set changes and can be difficult, they handle it with grace and with skill. And so working with the team at McMiniman's is absolutely just a joy.
That's so great. I mean, I love seeing something like that, flourish and grow year after year, even though it is a lot, I'm sure there's a lot of stress involved with that and getting that done, but it's all for, like you said, a good cause. And let's talk about that here too. So you mentioned that all of the proceeds are going to a nonprofit to help out the community. Can you tell us about what that is and why you chose that specific one?
Absolutely. All Good Northwest just does some amazing work here in the Portland community, both with the houseless and the homed. And so one thing we are doing and that we're asking our participants is to bring, we're doing a warm clothing drive. So bring, what's most needed on these cold winters are warm socks, warm socks, gloves, hand warmers, just anything that can help our community get through these cold winters. And if you do bring, for each pair of warm clothing that you bring, either new or gently used, you get entered in a raffle ticket to win, a signed poster at the end of the night or artist merch. And so they do just fantastic work, but whether it's setting up and helping families find homes or caring for those by helping shelters in the local community. All Good Northwest really does fantastic work, and I know their staff is very dedicated to helping communities who need a little help in the area and helping good people get back on their feet.
How does that make you feel being, somebody who founded this festival? You're getting to put this on. You have all of the great music that's going to be there. Your cohorts, some of your idols, like you said. You're going to be playing the music, but then also helping out with the community and doing this. How does that feel for you growing into this?
I think it feels amazing, to be honest. It's something that I've aspired towards for our whole career, figuring out how to help those around and to support the community. And I think as the festival has grown and as we've had a bigger stage and more of an audience, I felt it's more of a need to do that. I think that is part of growing up just in the world, is that as like as you get older, figuring out ways to help those around you more than looking at helping yourself. And so I'm feel that it may have taken me longer to get there than a lot of my community members, but I'm happy to be here now.
Hey, it's always about changing and growing and figuring that stuff out. And I think for everybody out there too who's watching this, maybe learning about the festival. Let's do this for those folks who haven't been out to a folk festival. I didn't mean to do that, but it just worked out. For anybody out there who hasn't maybe gone to a folk show or seen a folk artist, or maybe isn't sure what that is, could you explain to them what the Portland Folk Festival is?
Absolutely. So it is a community event first and foremost. And so some people think Crystal Ballroom and they think of the bouncing stages and packed crowds, and that's not necessarily what we're going for. We cap the audience for comfort, so there's a lot more room in to kind of stretch around and interact. We also bring in a lot of chairs. So that's a big question at folk festivals. Is like, what do I do with my legs? Where am I going to sit? Where do I enjoy the music? We bring in chairs. We set those up at the festival. We also have a little cozy area up front, right of the stage, that'll have bean bags and kind of like rugs and benches and nice and cozy things to sit and relax and feel comfortable. We also bring in vendors, all sorts of local crafts vendors. Our friend Ceramic Daddy will be there. He's selling pottery. Our friend at Sticks and Stones, who makes beautiful men's and women's jewelry, will be on hand. Raspy Timbers will be there with jewelry as well. And so the whole aspect of it is to bring the community together to support all sorts of different art and music.
Well, Scott, I want to say thank you very much for joining me here to talk about this too. Is there anything else that you think people should know about the festival, about folk music, about everything that you're doing?
I'd love to also mention we're part of Portland Music Month for Music Portland, and those are the kind of biggest offenders of live music here in the city. They work to make sure that musicians have load in and load out spots to work with noise ordinances with venues, and they also have the Echo Fund grant, which is given out every year to support local musicians because it is a tough career choice. I'll leave it at that, and tough to figure out ways to continue to make music. And so Portland Music Month and Music Portland is a portion of every ticket that you buy also goes to them to kind of support their efforts to keep musicians thriving and to keep the community and of Portland as a whole full of art and music.
That's a great cause right there. And all those things that you just mentioned, and load in and load out, that is a tough thing to figure out. There needs to be a good space for that. Lugging up stuff up a bunch of stairs is not fun. So anyway.
You're telling me.
Right. Well, Scott, thank you very much for joining me here for this. And finally, just for everybody can we let them know where to go to get tickets and find out more about the festival?
Yeah, you can go to portlandsfolkfestival.com. Or foxandbones.com or the McMiniman's Crystal Ballroom website. Tickets are available all the way up until the festival's happening, and they'll be available at the door along with we have a few remaining 3-day passes at a discounted price. So if you go to portlandsfolkfestival.com, you can find all that information out, see the lineup, and even send me an email if you have any questions. I'll be at the computer all day for the next 8 days. So drop me a line anytime and I'll respond.
Well, Scott, appreciate it very much. Thank you for responding to me and coming on here to talk about this. Congratulations, on this huge expansion and just how well this keeps going, and for everything that you're doing. And thanks for joining me here on Fox 12 Now today.
Thanks for having me, Greg. That is a lot of fun. All
right, great. Have a good one. Okay, so there we go. Like I said, we cover a lot of different things here on this show, and this is something that's a lot of fun, getting to learn about some of these different events and things that are happening. So for everybody watching, thank you for joining me. If you're watching on social media, on YouTube and Facebook, you're going to see the video end. I will be continuing on over on our apps and website, so we've got more that's going to be happening there. And then at 1:30 p.m. today, we're going to be talking to Partners for Hunger-Free Oregon and the Oregon Food Bank. They're both going to be joining me to talk about a summer EBT program to help actually feed hungry kids this summer here in Oregon. So we're going to talk about that initiative and how they're looking for some funding. So that's coming up. And like I said, we've got more over on the website and the apps as well. So it's a good time to download the Fox 12 Oregon app and join me over there. But if you're on social media, I'll see you back at 1:30. I'll talk to you on the apps in just a minute. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.